have to raise his level against Korda today, who at 24 years of age, I mean, last year was his best year, he reached his career high. I do feel that he is ready now to really make that push. No one has ever doubted the ability of the American. Maybe he has lacked his, I think, just being consistent enough to be able to justify the talents that he clearly has. And physically, I think he's getting stronger as well.
Yeah, talking of physicality, I mean, at the start of the year, a lot of the players want repetition, they want matches. I know Tommy Paul said he was actually quite happy his first match went the distance. He's not had as many matches, he's had 2 straight sets wins. Could that actually hinder him here with the walkover against Kokonakis in the quarters?
Yes, but he kind of, I guess what we were really waiting for was, you know, it's easy to play your best tennis if you get up a break early and then you can free swing, which attacking players can do. How would he be if he got to a tie-break? Well, he played a great tie-break yesterday against Kecmanovic. So, you know, given the fact that it's just a couple of matches since the US Open, which is, of course, where he realised he needed that elbow surgery.
In terms of the previous meetings, the most recent one was 2022, so a fair while ago, but it was a final. How much can we read into that? Auger-Aliassime won at 6-3, 6-4?
Well, I think if you Auger-Aliassime, a lot. I think for Korda, not a lot. Because he was saying, well, that's what, 2 and a bit years ago, and he has since then won that big title in Washington last year. I think this is just a clean slate. I just see this as what's going to go on now in terms of the next couple of hours, as opposed to previous history. If you are a Monfils and Djokovic and you're playing each other, the previous history will count for a lot because of the baggage that someone like Monfils would have coming into that head-to-head. Congratulations to Monfils, by the way.
Yeah.
Winner in Auckland. Brilliant effort.
So who will win in Adelaide after Monfils took the title in Auckland? Will it be Auger-Aliassime or will it be Seb Korda? It really has been a fabulous week in South Australia. Always tend to get a great final at the Adelaide International. In the last few years, that has very much been the case, including 2 years ago, arguably the best of the lot, where Seb Korda pushed Novak Djokovic all the way. Had a championship point 2 years ago, couldn't quite get over the line against arguably the greatest player of all time. Today he's facing Felix Auger-Aliassime for the right to lift his first title in Australia. Yet to drop serve this week is Korda. It's been far more of a roller coaster ride for Auger-Aliassime, but you might say he's battle hardened as he heads into this final. Should be absolutely fascinating. Barry Cowan alongside myself, Pete Hodges. It was Korda who won the toss and elected to receive, so it will be the Canadian to get us underway. This was something I mentioned to you, Barry, in terms of what Auger-Aliassime might do behind his second serve. He won just 35% of points behind the second serve against Tommy Paul in the semis, and that was interesting.
Yeah, I certainly felt he took a long time over that second serve. Nervous. That's clear.
Oh my! What a shot that is to start this final.
Well, that's unbelievable. And that was clear yesterday how good he was right out the blocks. He just took the gamble. It was likely Auger-Aliassime was going to go there, but it's an unbelievable pass.
Consider Korda hasn't dropped serve so far this week already. Early pressure.
15-13.
That helps out the Canadian. Since she mentioned the nerves, of course, it was so well documented. Auger-Aliassime lost his first 8 finals. the ATP Tour. He's been better in recent times. 4 of his last 5, but last title coming in 2023. He made 1 final since then. That was in Madrid last year.
Wow. You just hit an ace. Why did you then hit a first serve at 131 Ks?
You do wonder, Barry, how much yesterday might have taken out of Auger-Aliassime as well. He said it himself, it was a real physical battle, as well as plenty of emotional toil. Missed opportunity. Decent second serve in the end.
Yeah, he went big, didn't he? 164. To the slot. So, yeah, just beaten by pace.
Yesterday's semi-finals were almost polar opposite. It was a really scrappy affair between Auger-Aliassime and Tommy Paul. 61 unforced errors for the Canadian, whereas it was such a clean performance from Korda. We would love an early break here. 3rd break point of the game. Something that he has done throughout the week. Serving well when break point down.
Yeah, saved all 9 break points against Garone. Stats this week. Korda leads Auger-Aliassime. We have many stats. Serve points 1. Second serve points 1. Service games 1, of course. Break points saved. Second serve return points 1. They're actually identical in terms of first serve return points 1. Leads the return games 1 and break points converted.
But, as we said, he's had a lot of tight, tough matches this year, Auger-Aliassime, and he has found a way through. Of the last 4, none of them have been easy. I think that service game there just underlines that. Battle hard and playing the big points well.
Yeah, it's a fantastic hold in the end. Nervous start with the double fault. Saved the break points, but crucially found some really good first serves.
Do you still worry about Auger-Aliassime with nerves? I mean, it was something we used to talk about all the time in finals, losing his first 8. Is there still remnants of that?
Yeah, but I've often, when people say about mental frailties, I've often said, well, if you look at the very best players in our sport, I mean, they're less likely to get nervous than the normal person because of the layers that they have, that they can call upon under pressure, technically so sound. So, I think the fact that, in general, Auger-Aliassime has tidied up that second serve will help him if it does get to the really big moments.
Forget, it doesn't have the best of finals records either. 2 and 6 in the finals.
But there've also been question marks against Korda, mentally.
His last final, it was in Washington last year's biggest title. It's his only final that wasn't the 250. Amazing,
really, that Korda started the week at 22. And if he wins the title, he doesn't move. Auger-Aliassime, start of the week at 29. If he wins the title, he moves up to 23.
Huge jumps, right? Of course, Korda, this time last year, the semi-finals here, doesn't have points to defend. As I say, he usually plays well. He loves the conditions here in Adelaide in particular.
14-15.
For me, that final against Djokovic a couple of years ago, my favourite finals of all time. On the ATP Tour, the level was just off the charts. It had so much drama as well. It's rare you see Djokovic pushed that hard. Someone outside the world's top 10 in a final. It's a nice response from Korda. No doubt he would have been a little disappointed having had 3 break points in the opening game, not to convert them, but very assured opening service game from the American.
Middle of 15.
It's great play from Korda. That's where he definitely has a big edge. Those backhand to backhand rallies. He hit his backhand so well yesterday.
So you couldn't say the same. Auger-Aliassime, that was what Tommy Paul was trying to get into. That's where the majority of the errors came from the Canadian yesterday, the backhand. Big miss as well. Regret from Felix's opening service game was missing the second serve return on break point. That backhand would have been up love 40. Auger-Aliassime just hanging in the point, and Korda can't make him pay.
And what will really disappoint Korda is that's 2 backhands, both in the net. Well, 30, back to 30 all.
First service game. Second serve he hit. Missed long, went big. It's a worry. It was looking to just roll it in midway up the net. So, as Barry's mentioned before, that shot in particular with Auger-Aliassime, there has been a bit of frailty over the years. Not ideal to see those 2 misses in a final so far.
it's really interesting actually. Love 30-point. Korda hit a backhand, and it almost, with his eyes, looks. I didn't really pick it up, and he didn't pick that first serve up.
Little intonation there as well,
Yeah.
suggesting that either the movement of the serve or something behind the court. Struggling to see it.
Just been a very difficult part of the evening with the sun. And clearly, spectators there in the, I was going to say, the expensive seats. Not that they know it's expensive, because they've probably been paid for.
As if you can get it.
Exactly.
It's 20 past 7 in the evening. Still hot though, and that's a missed opportunity really for Korda. Struggling with that evening sunshine. Been overly convincing, has it, so far in Auger-Aliassime's 2 service games, but he leads 2-1. You mentioned earlier on, congratulations to Gael Monfils, 38 years young. Became the oldest man. The ASB Classic in Auckland to win a tour level title since 43-year-old Ken Rosewell captured the 1977 Hong Kong Trophy. Wonderful to see Monfils' efforts. The better Zizou Bergs earlier on today. Backhand on that occasion from Korda. Just what we were seeing in the previous game. Just wonder whether it's slightly easier serving this side. Maybe you should have said, I'll go that side, rather than receive first, like they've all been doing this week in the toss.
He's backhand particularly well so far. Another error. 7 unforced errors. A bit at the far end, obviously, he found it difficult picking the ball up, but just not at his best at the moment.
It's a handy second serve ace.
Yeah, it's a great play. I mean, that's where you've got to do your research and Anyone that's seen Auger-Aliassime this week has seen that he likes to stand quite a long way back and bring that forehand in play with his return. So, you know, early on, you know, make that statement of going down the middle. It's a, you know, it's a fairly safe serve for Korda. It's just so important as great servers. Be proactive. Don't sort of wait until it's too late.
It's Korda's way to serve his way out of trouble, and this time it's Auger-Aliassime's turn to not pick up the ball. Getting underway all of about an hour later than what we were anticipating, so this would have been probably happening in the middle of the final rather than right at the beginning. The sun beginning to set. Of course, we were having a discussion off air about what we thought about this final. I think, my fear for Korda, I know you felt he was favourite for this one, understandably so, was the disruption of rhythm. A lot of rhythm against Kecmanovic. I feel that Auger-Aliassime yesterday, his up and down level disrupted Tommy Paul. Just wonder whether that will be a factor today with Seb Korda. In terms of the high level we saw from the American yesterday. Talking about rhythm, you played, Auger-Aliassime takes a long time between the points. Did that ever frustrate you as a returner? Did you prefer someone playing quicker?
Well, you've got to play within the 28 seconds. So, I think now, these days, it should be something that players are comfortable with. I mean, the hardest part, I find, is when you play someone against someone who plays quick. Okay. And you're kind of not ready, and they're already ready to serve, because you have to play at the server's pace. So I think that's harder. Pace first serve again. Change the rhythm.
So early, didn't he, Korda, rushing Auger-Aliassime?
Yeah, that's a brilliant play. I think again that last shot and the move is sort of opponent-led, really. It's a fairly safe play against Auger-Aliassime, who's backhand pass is certainly not a top 10 level. You know, it's not a Djokovic or a Jannik Sinner, where maybe he might have a little bit of a doubt of whether he would make the move forward there, Korda. That is a classic case why returning a second serve down the middle is such an effective play, because it was a decent return from Korda, but what happened, it kind of had the angle for Auger-Aliassime to take his forehand down the line. It's such a natural play these days, that particular pattern of play.
6 and 10. Second serve so far. I mentioned yesterday 35% of second serve points won, so it's better so far from the Canadian. Really good return from Korda to allow Auger-Aliassime to get set, to get on the front foot. So it's a goal from Nirvana.
I think we saw in the last game with Korda down 15-30, he went that second serve into the forehand. I think it's really important that he varies it. Auger-Aliassime, if he under pressure persists with that sort of slice top second serve into the backhand wing of Korda.
Auger-Aliassime has been taken to juice, and someone who shows that much emotion between the points, but there are signs that he's just maybe getting a little frustrated here, that he hasn't found himself in front. Just about doing enough. In truth, though, an excellent point again from Auger-Aliassime, who wants more. He's able to play his best tennis in the big moments. 3 tight service games, but 3 tight service holds for Auger-Aliassime. Oh, yes. Korda a taste of his own medicine. We saw that wondrous pass on the backhand side in the first game from the American. Now Auger-Aliassime getting in on the act, on the stretch, on the forehand. How about this? It was a pretty good volley right into the corner, but stunning from the Canadian. See it. Who's been hanging on to their serve. He can then be the first to break.
That's a great start to the game, and I really like the slice, actually, from Auger-Aliassime. That then enabled him to bring his forehand into play. Tactically, certainly was a big factor in that point.
Top-class tennis all round. And the crowd rightly responding.
Well, he was peppering the Auger-Aliassime forehand and then coming into the backhand, but how good was the lob? This has been a great game. I think the struggles continue for Korda, that far end.
3 break points. Quite unreal. Auger-Aliassime, who saved 4 break points across 3 service games, but he is the one to strike first in this final. Breaks to love. Where did that come from?
The first time he's been broken this week. Can you believe it? It is without him winning a point. I did say yesterday he struggled when he broke. First point, important here, but this has been a big opening set.
Amazing, isn't it? Just how psychological the sport is. As mentioned, battle-hardened. That stands for every single match this year for Auger-Aliassime has been a battle. 4 of 5. I just feel that has stood him in good stead so far in this final. Quite know what he's going to do with the second serve. It's working. Caressed into the corner. And this is some purple patch from Auger-Aliassime.
There's a big improvement on yesterday when he beat the top seed over 24 hours ago. He just looks so secure at the moment.
I suppose it's a case. Talk about that win over Tommy Paul. Not playing his best tennis, yet beating the top seed. And I mentioned Roger Federer saying that those wins mean so much more when you're not playing your best and you come through. How good you feel the next day. We're maybe seeing that from Auger-Aliassime. Getting better and better as this final goes on. Backs up the break emphatically. 8 straight points for the 5th seed. And he's a game away from taking this opening set. Leads 5-2. What's impressed you the most? There's a lot to be impressed with so far of what we've seen from Auger-Aliassime.
And I think probably what was the most important part was the start in holding serve, that opening service game, because you save your break points when you're nervous, it gives you a lift. I wouldn't say it affected Korda, but it means you don't get off to the dream start. But since then, he's looked so calm.
Confidence so key for Auger-Aliassime. We mentioned this yesterday. I went through what he did in 2022, where he won 3 tournaments back to back to back. Finished the year with wins over the likes of Djokovic, Alcaraz. Everyone was saying, I think he was going to be in the top 8 come the end of the next year. It didn't happen. So if he can get confident again, he's a threat to finish in the top 8 of the year, isn't he?
Sorry to put a dampener on it, Pete, but we're in week 2.
I just felt we were talking about it the other day and we didn't mention it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we know he has the talent.
15-13.
That's why it's fun to predict, though, isn't it? It's
Oh,
almost,
yeah.
almost impossible to predict as well.
Well, I think this year's almost, one of the hardest years to try and, yes, second guess what's going to happen in terms of the top 10. Start and that second returning game, the far end, I think has affected Korda, and hitting the ball brilliantly at the beginning. I think of that backhand pass very early on. His confidence has kind of been eroded a bit. Body language is showing that.
2 set points for the world number 29.
In terms of the quality shots this opening set, 9.7 his shot quality on his forehand for Auger-Aliassime.
Right, when you mention it, the first miss he's had with that shot. Just allows Korda to stay alive for now. So it might have been going along the whole way. Dipped onto the service line. Hanging on right now is the American. Vital hole, saves a couple of set points. First tight game really of the match that's gone Korda's way. Can apply the pressure in this next game. Safe to say we can see plenty of twists and turns in this one.
Just thinking 2-second serve turns missed, whether he might just explore the option of just standing a little further back, Korda, just to give himself a bit more time. And no, that's not necessarily in his DNA.
Important point of this opening set actually came really early on, 30-40. First service game for Auger-Aliassime, where Korda missed a second serve return and he just looked a bit rushed on it. Had he made Auger-Aliassime play there where he was making errors, maybe we would have seen a very different set. As it is, here are 3 more set points for the world number 29. Well, it was a shaky start. Auger-Aliassime did what he's done throughout the week. Won a few very tight, close games, and from there, his confidence clearly grew. And in the end, finished the set very strong. Takes the opener 6-3 in 39 minutes.
It's a brilliant set of tennis from Auger-Aliassime. The first game really
second set.
First of all, take care of your own serve. Returns, he missed 7 of 17 second serve returns, Korda.
Those who weren't with us for the stats, as in Auger-Aliassime won 71% of points behind his second serve. Mentioned yesterday, won 36%. But he's been varying his second serve very well today. Did that yesterday, but Tommy Paul, I felt, almost got better as the match went on, returning that second serve.
And on the other side, I thought coming into it, Korda would probably win around about 80 to 85% of points on his first serve. In that first set, he only won 56 on a pretty quick court, fast conditions. So again, highlights how well Auger-Aliassime played.
Oh, everything is working right now for the Canadian. Even that one has found the line. Clearly wasn't the cleanest. It's apologising to Korda, but it just feels like it's all going his way in this final so far. Maybe the net cord he was apologising for, but that is some dig, isn't it? Bit of everything in that net cord, bit of frame outside of the line. Brilliant point from Auger-Aliassime.
40-13.
Although it's not the biggest, 183. Just wonder whether the service speed is down today. We don't have that information. There is strapping on his stomach, Korda, and of course let's not forget just the end of last year from the US Open with an elbow surgery. The issue for him in each of the last 3 years has been playing a complete season. So start of the year there may be some niggles and some strains. We have seen strapping on the stomach. Just wonder whether he's not hitting that first serve as big, because he was hitting some huge serves yesterday. There's no doubt about that against Kecmanovic. Didn't face a break point in the semi-final. Just stretching out there as well, so something to just keep an eye on. He had a walkover himself due to a shoulder injury. So often you see at the start of the year players picking up various ailments.
Second serve return. Just looks like he's feeling that stomach.
Just stretching out before the game. Every year he's been on tour, Korda. There's been injury issues. Just a chunk in 2021. That was after reaching the quarterfinals in Miami. So something I referenced yesterday, it also seems to happen when he's playing well. 2022 he missed Wimbledon. And of course in 2023, fresh from an amazing final here against Djokovic and then reaching the quarters of the Australian Open. A wrist injury which meant he missed Wells, Miami, Monte Carlo. The elbow injury after that brilliant run back end of last year to cut his season short. Just hope he hasn't picked up anything serious.
40-15.
It is a stomach injury.
Worst injuries to have if it is a little niggle, because if you make it worse, then it's months.
Berrettini, who had abdominal issues, he
14-13.
suffering for his entire career due to a stomach injury. Very careful with it.
He's just looking to use that slice a bit more, Korda, to try and change the rhythm of the point. When you think of the great rhythm Auger-Aliassime in.
Service hold for the Canadian. Fontang on his feet.
Well, I thought coming into the final, if you had sort of a service game where Auger-Aliassime missed more first serves and second than likely to be broken. Serve more and more comfortably after the difficulties of the first couple of games.
Sebastian Korda only 189. Once more case down the tee. Usually you're seeing that up in the 200s. He was so clinical at the net yesterday. 0-6 so far today. At the front of the court is the American. Let's not forget, if Auger-Aliassime does go on to win the title here, it would be a first for him. Never won an outdoor hard court title. It's actually only his second final. The other one came in Australia, in Melbourne, in the Murray River Open, February 2021. First outdoor hard final since then. All of his titles have come indoors. Finally wins a point at the net, but nearly got himself into a bit of trouble. With a couple of bites of the cherry in the end.
30-15.
Yeah, he's battling himself at the bit at the moment. Again, that's another stat that I'm so surprised out. It's the first point he's won coming forward.
Game. Korda.
Through the game, as Barry was saying, it does feel like it's a battle right now for Korda, but important hold to ensure we remain on serve in set 2.
Time.
So we get a fantastic final. The Adelaide International, it was a brilliant one last year. If you were with us, Korda lost in the semi-finals. He has lost to the winner the last 2 occasions. Defeated by Lehechka last year in the semis, and Lehechka got the better of Jack Draper. 3 brilliant sets. Set down, did the Czech. That's exactly what Korda's looking to try and do here. Kwon won the second Adelaide title that followed that amazing Djokovic-Korda final. That won 7-6 in the third. Second Adelaide event in 2022. Kokkinakis, the Adelaide homeboy. Rinderk Nesh, 6-3 in the third. He also came from a set down, so there's been plenty of drama in previous recent finals. So much drama in the first, where Rublev beat Lloyd Harris 6-3, 6-love back in 2020. Trying to come on there from Korda.
I think he's just trying to up his intensity. Just get competitive again on Auger-Aliassime's service games, just to build a little bit of the rhythm. I think that's what's happened. He started with good rhythm, but that's been sort of eroded away as things stand.
Face for Auger-Aliassime.
Brilliant serving. In terms of points won for Korda, or points lost for Auger-Aliassime, depending how you want to look at it. On his serve, he lost 10 points in his first 3 service games. Since then, his next 4 service games, 3 points. Usually, you kind of get better in terms of your returning.
Started his opening service game with, even though we were seeing double faults, you could not read what he was going to do with that second serve. It was pacey, it was slow, it was out wide, it was down the tee. I suppose by usually returners get better because you start reading an opponent's serve, but hasn't really had anything to go off with where Auger-Aliassime is serving. So percentage has been low for Auger-Aliassime, 51%, Korda at 69%. Still feels like he's holding back. That was 172k serve. He's lost pace compared to yesterday.
15.
Korda this week. And the other big drop-off. Points one. He was brilliant yesterday against Kecmanovic. It's now 2 from 9 in the net for the American today.
Just half a step slower.
And it's the serves.
Yeah, you know, I mean, only he knows the reason why. Whether it's a physical issue, whether it's a mental issue, whether it's a combination of both. And I think you always have to put into context, it's dependent on the opponent. I mean, this level is better from Auger-Aliassime than Kecmanovic yesterday, for instance.
Let's not forget as well, Barry, it was a late finish last night. The long match that Auger-Aliassime had, then there was a relatively long women's match, so it was a late finish for Korda. Turnaround. Did enough with the volley. So it's well played, confident coming forward when he's missed so many. Gives the break point.
That's a great response. Bookmark that point. Just felt like he had a little bit extra energy in terms of his movement. Korda, it was a really positive volley.
Great forehand from Auger-Aliassime, but doesn't seem anywhere near as much on the ball today as what we saw throughout the tournament for Korda. And the Canadian takes full advantage.
He's rattled. This is the moment, really, where he's got to try and push through something that Korda wasn't able to do when he had his chances at the start of the match. Oh.
It's arguably the best point he's played from the back of the court. And again, it comes at break point down. If he can come through this game, will it be a turning point in this final?
Yeah, the reaction when that last shot missed from Korda. Firing himself up.
Really good tennis once more. Plenty of variety on show in that rally. Once again, it's Korda who comes out on top. And they both go toe-to-toe at the back. Out of the game, though.
Top quality first serve.
massive hold, no doubt about it. Auger-Aliassime thinking that the serve was out, but with Hawkeye on the lines, he'd be in. That's a monumental hold. Couple of breakpoint saved. Korda back in front in this second set. Of course, we talking about how Korda was the favourite coming into this final. He's not got the best of finals records throughout his time. Washington last year, 2 and 6 in finals. Towards the first 4 games to this final, you would have thought it's just a matter of time before he broke the Auger-Aliassime serve and maybe pulled away from his opponent, but that hasn't been the case. He fought very hard in that previous game to ensure that we remain on serve in this second set. Plenty of work still to be done for the American.
Still surprised he hasn't adjusted his position on return, Korda. Second serve returns missed.
Tennis players, though, are stubborn beings.
They need to be sometimes. They also need to be
adaptive. I think I remember Djokovic talked about best tennis players in the world. The thing that makes tennis players great is the ability to adapt, playing in different continents.
It's knowing when to adapt.
Weathers and all of that.
And that comes with just reading the match.
Position this time. Slightly deeper for that return. Made it, but make the next ball, and it's another comfortable hole for Auger-Aliassime.
And also, it depends on your opponent. I mean, if you're playing, let's say, John Isner, for instance, I often didn't see the merits really in standing a long way back to return his second serve, because the amount of kick he can get, actually it can make it even harder. But against someone like Auger-Aliassime, who doesn't really have a kick serve, it's sort of a heavy top slice. Actually, by standing back, you can just get a little bit more time to be able to get a cleaner strike.
And Barry, as we've said throughout this final, the variety. not as easy to read. So often we do know where an opponent's second serve is going.
It's always important to put sort of numbers into context. Sinner led the tour last year. Points won on second serve, 58%. So far in this match, Auger-Aliassime an incredible 67%.
And about it, there are plenty of question marks right now. What is happening to Korda?
Also, I mean, we talked about it at the start, but I think it's something that is important to stress in this situation for Korda. You know, this is only his third match since the US Open.
Yeah, that was why I asked you the question of whether withdrawing against him was a good thing or a bad thing. Always nice to make a semi-final without hitting a ball, but in his situation, maybe he could have done with tough battle. 2 straight sets wins. He's fighting hard here.
Goes right in there. Absolutely right in there, digging in. He showed the fire in his last service game. He's still only lost serve only once.
And on serve. The second set. Just a couple of break points we've seen. Going the server's way in set 2. 4-3. Korda hits.
Time.
So we talk about sliding doors moments, especially in finals. So we'll go back to that first game. It was up 15-40. Second serve on the 30-40 point. Missed the return. How different it could be had he made that return. But as it is, Auger-Aliassime, nearly the finish line in sight. New balls here. 23-4 in the second set. That's how we started the match. useful, hasn't it? Auger-Aliassime. Now this is a real test.
Plan B is almost what he's calling upon here. Korda is sort of just trying to extend the point, but when you're that far back, you have to play with a little bit more shape. I understand his frustration there.
It was a let called. Complaints from Auger-Aliassime, but a little bit of a let off for Korda. He's almost starting the walk to the other side, so he might not have heard the let.
Hit more serves into the Korda forehand than the backhand. As you would expect, he's won more points in the first serve, serving into the forehand, than the backhand. 100% of those serves down the middle on the outside he's won.
15-14.
Second double of the game. Without having to do too much in this game. It's the chance to first break of the set. To break the Auger-Aliassime serve though in this match. Goes long. Safe, solid point from Korda. In truth, a disappointing game from Auger-Aliassime. As it's Korda who breaks. Now will serve to take us into a deciding set.
Well, I can use whatever word you want there. I'm sure the words that Auger-Aliassime is telling himself are unrepeatable on air. I mean, unbelievable really to press the self-destruct button. I mean, actually, that last point I thought was a smart point from Korda, because he kind of recognised how he got in that position, was just put the ball back on the island. But I think what we saw in that last game, it's why it's absolutely crucial at any level, even if you're fighting, which he clearly was at the beginning, is that you just dig in. You just ride those tough moments, and Korda did that.
Interesting, we've been talking about that second serve return position. Twice in that game he took up a deeper position, recognising, as we've been saying, the situation in the game. So righting the wrongs when we talked about that opening service game. Amazing. Full stretch. Just an awesome pass from FAA.
Oh, what an athlete this guy is. Pretty good volley from Korda. I mean, how wide on the stretch. And then the control. One of the shots of the match.
Just about finds the baseline. This is why Auger-Aliassime is so tough to play against this week, because we've seen that the double faults, that the moments where he's missing big, and he'll produce a passing shot like that. It's a bit of extra pressure on the next point for Korda, but stepped up on that occasion. One of the biggest serves we've seen as well from Korda. Big time to find a big serve like that as well. Brings up a set point for the world number 22. He's got him again on the pass. More luck this time though, safe to say, from the Canadian. Well there just to keep his calm, Korda. Auger-Aliassime putting his body on the line.
Some effort, this.
Mid-air as he struck it.
Don't try that at home. Smart play, actually. Going back in behind, I think. Remember the pass earlier on when he gave that shot of Auger-Aliassime on the run. Tactically in tune.
Over the line in this game. Second double of the match. Yeah, just a few nerves here. A few nerves on the sidelines as well. Points. You can see that. He's had to battle through his service games more often than Auger-Aliassime in this set. Easier pass than the winner he hit earlier on in the game. Can't come up with it on that occasion. So it's a third set point for Korda. This time closes it out, and it will be a one-set shootout to decide this final. Auger-Aliassime thought that the serve was wide, but he's going to have to accept. He's heading to a decider. Got to credit Korda there, dug in when it really mattered. Takes the second, 6-3.
Both sets actually been played out in a very similar way. Auger-Aliassime struggled.
all means, incidentally, is that for the 5th final in a row in Adelaide,
Time.
we are heading the distance. Something about this final. I love a thriller in South Australia. Incidentally, 3 of the last 4 winners have come from a set down.
Auger-Aliassime to serve.
Who's been a point away from winning this title before. At least now he's a set away, having been 2 sets away after losing the first.
Thank you.
The start of this set crucial, as we've seen in the last couple of sets.
Hot. Very low. Hot.
Korda won a lot of fans. He's run to the final, that amazing performance against Novak Djokovic a couple of years ago. But let's not forget, Auger-Aliassime, a little more endearment. He's got engaged to Ilya Tomilanovic's cousin in the off-season. Very popular in Australia. First game of this 3rd set.
First game, final set.
It's an important game. Lost the last 3 when you consider that the previous service game he had, where he hit 2 double faults. No issues there. What's going to happen here, Barry? Come on.
Oh, my goodness. Thanks for that.
Okay, well, what's going to be the defining factor? What's the most important thing?
Well, it's who can stay calm under pressure. I think you know, then you have to look at the rankings, very similar, and you have to look at what we've seen in this match, very similar. You know, what I do feel, and you know, time will tell, and we're going to have to wait a long time, but you know, the winner of this match, you win a title early on in the season, does that sort of set up your year? You know, Djokovic has often talked about that. You know, you win a title early on in the year, you can kind of grow in confidence from it, and I think to come through a final, just that it is important for whoever wins this. Clever pass, the dipper.
Love 13.
No, this is always different with the pressure of it being a final. Just looking at the deciding set records in the last 12 months. Korda, 10-4. Auger-Aliassime, 9 wins, 11 losses. Just feels like it's been a different type of week, hasn't it, for Auger-Aliassime? He's won his last 3 matches in the deciding set. In terms of who's more battle-hardened, there's no doubt about it. It's this FAA with what he's done this year.
13.
Korda did win his last 3 deciding sets before the elbow injury. Wins over Sasha Zverev as well in the quarterfinal of the Canadian Masters.
His 17th final, and they make it only the 2nd time it's gone to deciding set. Felix.
18-14.
This feels like we're back to where we were at the start of the 2nd.
Well, if he holds here, does that make him the favourite? Because when you look at now that the 2 previous sets have gone, whoever's been under pressure on serve, he's then held, he's gone on to win the set. So these are big moments.
13-14.
So just to talk about Korda's record in deciding sets, he's won 6 of his last 7. The loss was to Petchi Pericard, 5-set thriller at Wimbledon. There's pressure on the 2nd serve now. Auger-Aliassime who strikes first in this deciding set, and what a strike it was. A scintillating forehand to pick up the early break in set 3.
Well, he had a sighter early in the game, which he missed. It just went long, but that one, he committed fully. And he broke early yesterday in the 3rd against Paul. And he's done exactly the same today. But Korda will turn his back that I contributed to my own downfall there early on in the game.
Picks up the break. He lost the 3 previous games. He's won 3 in a row to start set 3. So now, momentum. Pendulum certainly has swung Auger-Aliassime's way. 3-love lead in the decider. doubt about it. In terms of last couple of years for Felix Auger-Aliassime, there was so much expectation about him. He was such a brilliant young player. To world number 6, and everyone, I think, at that stage thought the only way was up. And it's been tough. It's a year and a half or so. As I was saying, you just wonder if he can claim the title here, what that might do to his confidence at the start of this year. Still a big if, still a lot of work to do to get over the line.
15 love.
Finals, 4 titles in 2022. Those days have felt like a long time ago.
13 love.
Here. Just make sure you don't lose your serve again.
Fault.
Throughout the week, shall we see? A loose service game. Perhaps the biggest statistic of the match.
Yeah, it's not necessarily because he's hit his second serve badly, it's just that he hasn't been as clean off the ground, Korda. Just holding his stomach there, he's just wondering whether actually his backhand, I don't think he's hit particularly well. 21 unforced errors. Actually, it's hurting him to turn. So therefore, he's just restricted a little bit.
It's usually such a smooth shot, isn't it? As you say, 21 unforced errors for him, 7. For Auger-Aliassime. I mean, if someone had said that to you at the start of this final, you would have believed them with what we saw yesterday from FAA. All those unforced errors. The Canadian, 61 in total, vast majority were off the backhand wing. Out of nowhere, without having to do too much. Former world number 6, it's a chance to go double break up. It was a high-risk shot, but the risk was rewarded. Stays alive in this service game for now.
That's a great response. Good point from Felix. In this situation, given that his back is most certainly against the wall, if you force him to hit a shot like that, and he executes too good.
Big hold. Talk about those sliding doors moments. Was that one of them? It's just that forehand. Final's probably going to get away from him as it is. Still just the one break. Still, as you can see there, I don't think he's fully fit. Stretching out the stomach muscles once more. The team certainly look more concerned than anything else. It's just the one break. there with the stomach muscle on that stretch. You see him staying alert.
15 love.
Both these two in the same half, and the bottom half tomorrow. Some of the matches in the bottom half tomorrow. So these guys will play on Monday.
So Lucas Klein for Korda. And Struff, the opponent for Auger-Aliassime. Quick turnaround. So Australian Open begins tomorrow. Used to the Sunday start yet, Barry?
Says I'm in a good mood at the moment.
Is it not, you know, weekend, more opportunity for fans to go and see it?
I'll be starting on Saturday soon.
Service hold for Auger-Aliassime. We said that couldn't get one loose service game from him, but doesn't look likely so far in this deciding set. So far so good for the Canadian, and he's 2 games away from the title. Leads 4-1. We said earlier that the serving numbers in terms of pace, but I feel that there's been a drop-off in terms of the pace today for Seb Korda, and we are wondering whether that's to do with a stomach injury that he's been stretching out. But the other big shot, Barry, that has certainly dropped off a cliff in the backhand.
23 and 4 steroids today. Shot quality yesterday was 8.6. That was Kecmanovic today, 6.1. Basic numbers of winners and unforced errors, minus 20.
Trying to get too cute with the volley there, Korda. Left himself exposed, and Auger-Aliassime just said, thank you very much.
It wasn't necessarily the wrong place. Just didn't hit it with any real conviction. You're going to go cross court, you've got to get a bit of work on the ball.
This is where, I mean, all the analysis coming into this final. Auger-Aliassime's backhand's been night and day different in the right way. Right now it looks like there's only one winner to this final. Change quickly, but needs to change for Seb Korda. First percentage down at 44%. Be about to get deeper for the world number 22. He's been so close to winning this title before. Is it going to be close, but no cigar again for the American. 3 break points for Auger-Aliassime. There is the double break.
And there is more uncomfortable on the backhand from Seb Korda.
Frustration is clear. Not only is it frustration for maybe his body letting him down in a final, but is it a case of here we go again with Seb Korda? So many injuries in the last 2-3 years. Meanwhile, Auger-Aliassime serving for the championship and a first ever title outdoors.
Such a nice place to be when you're serving for the match at 5-1, but you don't take it for granted. Shut the door this game. And he's halfway there. And the way he served in this third set has been absolutely brilliant.
Three championship points for the Canadian. It's a straight A's week for FAA. As he wins a first ever ATP Tour title outdoors. You have to feel for Korda. Close but no cigar once again for the American. But after a tough couple of years, just how big could this moment be for Felix Auger-Aliassime? A 6th title of his career. And in truth, it's been a tough week. There's been plenty of ups and downs. But when it has mattered most, time and time again, he has been able to produce his best. The guile, the battle, the mental toughness,